On the short list of elected representatives who are at the absolute very top, the warriors, the people fighting for the American people like nothing I've ever seen, comes Congressman Jim Jordan. He's now the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. It absolutely gives me so much joy to be able to say that. Congressman Jordan, welcome back to the Mike Gallagher Show. How have you been, sir?
I'm fine. Good to be with you, Mike. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you. Well, thanks for what you do. And, you and I were on stage together in Ohio during our Salem Battleground Talkers Tour. You light up a crowd. People are so grateful for people like you who are unwilling to bend and play nice with the other side. It's tough now because you got an entire, you got a mishmash of people in the House. You got red meat Republicans. You have some establishment Republicans. It's almost, I guess, like herding cats a little bit. I know you must be heartbroken. It must be heartbroken for you to hear that your colleague Adam Schiff wants to run for Senate. This would be what a terrible loss this would be for the House, huh?
Yeah. No, I think he probably is going to run for Senate. I know we got another colleague she's announced as well, so we'll see. But we're going to be focused on doing what we told the American people we're going to do. There's certain bills we need to pass. I don't think Chuck Schumer will take them up, but we still need to pass them to fix the problems the Democrats have created. Then we need to do the oversight, the investigative work. That's part of our constitutional duty. We need to do it in a way that's consistent with the Constitution, unlike I think the way the Democrats have. But we need to do it, and we need to do it vigorously and aggressively, because I think that's what's warranted when you think about these unelected bureaucrats who think they run our lives. And then we need to deal with the crazy spending, and we got the debt ceiling issue and some other things coming up. So I think that's going to be the focus of the Congress, kind of those three areas. And we should just get about doing that work, and that's what we're gonna do. We got a tight majority, so we're gonna have to work together, as you indicated. But I think we can get that done.
I want to go down the list of things that you're going to tackle, and of course, that was the name of your book, "Do What You Said You Would Do," which I love about your constant mantra, and you said it on stage there in Ohio that night. We got to do what we were elected to do. But before we get to that, we understand the obstacle with the Democrat-controlled Senate. So there's going to be a real uphill battle. Are there areas of legislation? Are there areas of agreement, or some reason for optimism? And if so, what are those? Where do you think Chuck Schumer's Senate might be willing to play ball with the Republican-controlled House?
I think there are very few. I mean, you think about what we've seen happen in 2 years: a border that's no longer a border, a military that can't meet its recruitment goals, bad energy policy, bad education policy, record spending, record inflation, record debt. I don't think they're going to really want to work with us on bills that we will pass to fix the border, to deal with energy policy. I don't think they're going to be willing to work with us on those. We should still pass them, as I said, so the country can see what we're for. And that, frankly, helps frame up the 2024 presidential contest, which will be so important. But I do think there's one area where I think this debt ceiling issue. Now, think about the Democrats' position right now. Democrats 5 weeks ago passed that $1.7 trillion monstrosity of a bill, funding all kinds of stupid things, and House Republicans were against it. And then 1 week ago, the White House says we will not negotiate with House Republicans on the debt ceiling. They simply need to just approve borrowing trillions of more dollars. Now, think how crazy that is. You just passed a crazy bill that we were against, spending on plankton studies and salmon studies, and giving the FBI a $500 million increase. And now you're saying you're not going to negotiate. No one believes that. So we're going to be able to, I think, get some good things on the debt ceiling, maybe some good structural things like, if we get to the end of the fiscal year and the appropriation process hasn't been completed, we don't just have some mad dash, a government shutdown scenario, and we're going to spend a boatload more money like the White House wants. No, we'll just spend what we're currently spending, just a CR, so we avoid that. Maybe one of the other things we should do is, you know what? If we're going to increase the borrowing authority and have more money, borrow more money, maybe the Senate, for something they haven't done in years, maybe they should have to pass a budget. You go to a bank and you want to get a loan for a business, you got to show them a business plan, for goodness sake. You got to show them a budget. So, but somehow the United States Senate under Chuck Schumer not have to do that. So I think we might be able to win some things there, and we're certainly gonna do that.
We're going to need all the tools in our arsenal to try to get the country back, and social media plays a role in this. I want to get your opinion about Facebook and Instagram, Meta. inviting President Trump back onto those platforms. Twitter did so a couple of months ago. He has yet to tweet. He has yet to really, indicate whether he's going to go back. I know he's got his own platform, Truth Social.
Yeah,
I don't know about you. I don't know about you, Mr. Chairman, but I smell a rat. I feel a setup coming. I don't trust them. I don't think they're doing this out of the goodness of their heart. Would you advise President Trump to go back to these platforms, or do you think he ought to stand pat with Truth Social and stay away from Facebook and Twitter and Instagram?
I leave that totally up to President Trump, however he wants to. I mean, he's one of the greatest communicators ever. I think he'll do what he wants to do there. What I want to get to the bottom of is what we've now learned because of Elon Musk, what we've now learned about this cozy relationship between big government and big tech and how they work to keep information from the American people. And again, God bless Elon Musk for the Twitter files. I've been reading through these now. I mean, it is truly unbelievable what they did and the bias that exists inside of big tech. And then to have the FBI encouraging that bias to keep information from we the people days and weeks before the presidential election 2 years ago. I mean, this is unbelievable. So we're going to look at that issue because it is so fundamental to how our First Amendment is supposed to work and how it was assaulted by these folks in the last couple of years.
I'm also really intrigued that after 2 years, all these tech giants have decided, oh yeah, now President Trump can come back. Why? What changed? What's different? You know what? If your justification is that you're a prominent presidential candidate and you have a right to be heard, that standard should have applied 2 years ago.
Yeah, he should have never been kicked off. The idea that, Twitter kicked off President Trump, but the Ayatollah could still tweet on its platform. I mean, it made no sense. It made no sense whatsoever. It was a direct attack on the First Amendment because government people were encouraging it. There's one example where Adam Schiff was trying to get a journalist taken off of one of these. I can't remember if it was Facebook or if it was Twitter. But you got the head of the House Intel Committee, the key leader in the impeachment effort, trying to get a journalist taken down. I mean, talk about a direct attack on freedom of the press, First Amendment freedom of the press. I mean, that is the kind of stuff that is scary. And frankly, it's the Judiciary Committee in the House of Representatives is supposed to be the committee most concerned about protecting the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, our fundamental liberties, and to have someone like Adam Schiff attacking that, and Jerry Nadler, I think in many ways, the Democrats on the committee supporting that is just wrong.
Congressman, I want to ask you a personal question, if I may, as it relates to the way you do your job and the way you have to function in the halls of Congress. There's a lot of noise this week about Adam Schiff and Swalwell and Ilhan Omar being removed from their committees and chairmanships and all that. I mean, listen, that's a lot of noise. I mean, the idea that they're sitting there screaming, "Oh, this is partisan politics," is almost laughable. Can I ask you on a personal level how awkward it is to walk down the halls with some of these political opponents that Republicans have? Is it difficult to do business with these folks who, seem to be unwilling to work with Republicans in any way, shape, or form? What's that like day to day?
I actually try to say hello to folks and be cordial and, just like you would, Mike. You're walking down the hall, you're going to say hello to folks. So I try to do that.
Do they say hello back to you?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. There are some Democrats, not the ones you were just talking there, but there's some who, particularly during COVID, I mean, it was so ridiculous. Like if you didn't have a mask on in the hall, they were like pointing, like, I haven't had a few of them swear at me, and I'm like, I would never do that to you. But so it's kind of sad. I think the bigger problem is that today's left is different from the left of 10, 12, 15 years ago. I always say one of my good friends is Dennis Kucinich, and truly a friend. I mean, we had coffee together. We'd talk, we'd text, we'd call. I mean, he's a good guy, but he's an old school liberal who believes in the First Amendment. He's a lefty. Right. He believes all kinds of crazy lefty things. He thinks I'm a crazy conservative, but he believes in the First Amendment. He believes in healthy debate. You get your best hold, make your best argument. He'll do the same. Let's see what happens at the end of the day, and then we can get a cup of coffee. That is not today's left. Today's left says,
no.
If you don't agree with them, you're not allowed to talk. And if you try to speak, they're going to call you racist. The president of the United States is going to stand in front of Independence Hall and call us fascist. I mean, they're going to come after you. And the cancel culture mob jumps in as well. So that is not healthy. And that's what we got to stop.
You're right about the different breed. There's a different way of doing things from the left. Now, and I remember many appearances I had on Fox News Channel over the years with the late Alan Colmes. Alan was willing to disagree and do it civilly. And today, in fairness, look at, speaking of Fox News, Harold Ford. Congressman Harold Ford seems to be a pretty reasonable guy. Yeah, sure does. I like the guy.
Does a great job. And he's the kind of guy you can hang out with, even if you have some different politics. He just seems like a good guy. I've never really met with him, didn't really serve with him, but seems like a great guy.
Yeah, he is. He really is indeed. Final question, Congressman, and we greatly appreciate you taking time with our audience, and our listeners and viewers appreciate you very much here on the Salem News Channel and on radio stations all over the country. Let's talk about the role of oversight, the role of investigations. We got lots of drama with Hunter Biden, lots of scandal with the classified documents. The idea that the president's son, Hunter Biden, might have had access to classified documents just curls your hair. I mean, you cannot believe that of all people that shouldn't be near classified documents, it seems to be that troubled soul. What role will judiciary play? What role will Congress play in trying to get to the bottom of what seems to be these many Biden family scandals?
I think the Oversight Committee under Chairman Comer and the Intel Committee will be mostly involved in looking at the potential influence of foreign actors and the banking issues and those things. I mean, Chairman Comer's talked about he wants to get access to the suspicious activity reports. It's been reported there are over 150 of these about the Biden, how they move money around and all. So I think that'll probably happen there. Our focus in the Judiciary Committee will be on the unequal application of the law. And it sure looks like that way when you look at how President Trump was treated and the classified document issue with him and how President Biden and, frankly, Secretary Clinton were treated. So we're focused on that because in this great country, you cannot have a double standard. You cannot have a unequal application of the law. It's supposed to be equal treatment under the law in the greatest country ever. And right now, it sure doesn't seem like we have that. It seems like we have. And we've had dozens of whistleblowers come confirm what we all suspect about the Justice Department. FBI agents come to us as whistleblowers. It seems like we have a Justice Department that operates in a political fashion. If you're a pro-life activist praying in front of a clinic, you get arrested at your house in front of your wife and kids. They kick in your door and arrest you. If you're one of the, hundreds and thousands of pro-abortion activists in front of a Supreme Court justice's home, in direct violation of a statute, 18 U.S.C. Section 1507, which says you cannot be protesting in front of a justice's home with the intent of influencing a pending case, a pending decision, which is exactly what they were doing. Nothing seems to happen to you. So this difference in double standard, the Americans are sick of it. We want equal application of the law, and that'll be the focus. That part will be the focus in the Judiciary Committee.
Well, as you know, Mr. Chairman, millions of Americans are pulling for you. We appreciate all of your efforts on behalf of Ohio and the American people. Keep fighting the good fight, and let's. I hope you can come back and visit with us again real soon.
We will. Thanks for all you do. God bless.